There are objects in this world that do not age, they do not rust, they do not fade, they wait, and the thing that waits the longest learns the most about you. You're standing at the gates of Blackthorn Manor, 1874. The sky is wrong here. No matter when you arrive, it's always the color of a bruise. In the second-floor window, past the curtains that never move, something stares back. Small, perfectly still, porcelain skin that catches the moonlight. One glass eye. The doll was delivered to this house in the autumn of 1754. No one remembers the name of the craftsman. The shipping records list no port, no vessel. Only the words, "For the child who cannot be." It should have been a toy. It became something else. The first mistress of the manor, Eliza Blackthorn, was said to sit for hours, cradling it in her lap, speaking to it in a tongue her servants could not place. Her husband called it grief, the way a widow might cling to the smallest thing that pretends to be alive. But they found the nursery door locked from the inside, and when they broke it open, Eliza was sitting in the rocking chair, dead for hours. The doll was on the bed, facing the wall. In the century that followed, it passed from hand to hand, never sold, never gifted, always inherited. The families who owned it all learned the same thing. It did not like to be left alone. You could leave it in the attic, lock it in a trunk, bury it in the garden under the heaviest stone, and still by morning it would be sitting where you had last seen it, head tilted slightly more than before. In 1894, the manor was sealed. The family line collapsed in a series of deaths no coroner could write plainly on paper. The doll remained sealed in the north wing. The key was thrown into the marsh, and yet, in 1994, exactly 100 years later, a girl broke in on a dare. She came back out at sunrise. She did not speak for the rest of her life. And now, tonight, you've come to see it. Not the legend, not the rumor, the thing itself. And you've already made the mistake that will cost you everything. You looked directly into its eye. You don't notice it at first, the change in the air. It's the kind of silence that feels heavy, as if every sound has been taken away, hidden somewhere behind the walls. You step into the front hall of Blackthorn Manor, and the floorboards give a slow, deliberate groan, as if the house knows you're here. The photographs on the wall are wrong. Every face is pale, every mouth slightly parted, as though caught mid-breath. And in the lower right corner of each frame, a smudge. Same shape, same height. A child. Always blurred, always looking away. There are no clocks running in the manor, but you hear ticking. Not from a timepiece. Sharper, hollower, like fingernails tapping glass. When they inventoried the manor in 1901, before the north wing was sealed for good, the inspectors refused to touch the doll. They wrote, "Object of personal significance" in the ledger, and under cause for the family's ruin they wrote only, "Persistent phenomenon, unsafe for habitation." But there's more they didn't record. A priest from the village came 3 times, each visit shorter than the last. On the final night, he was found sitting on the stone steps outside, clutching his Bible so tightly his fingernails had bled. He would not speak of what he saw, only that it knows its own. They say if you listen in the north wing, you'll hear it breathing, not the shallow breath of a sleeping thing, but the slow, patient inhale of something deciding what to do with you. You take another step, and the air grows colder, your skin prickling. The ticking stops. Somewhere deep in the house, a floorboard creaks, not under your foot. Another set of steps, slow, unhurried. You think about leaving, but the door you entered through is gone. The hallway has shifted longer than before. The portraits now tilt slightly, their eyes following. You catch it then, in your periphery, a small shadow ipping around the corner, too small to be a person, too smooth in its movement to be an animal. You know what it is before you even look, and then you make the second mistake. You follow it. The north wing smells of dust, candle wax, and something faintly sweet, the scent of flowers left too long in a sealed room. Your footsteps are swallowed by the thick carpet runner, its deep red faded to the color of dried blood. At the far end of the corridor, a door waits. Not open, not shut, just breathing. You don't hear the hinges, you hear the air pushing in and out, as if the wood itself has lungs. When the manor's blueprints were studied in 1923 by a team of restoration architects, they found something strange. The north wing was built at a slightly different angle than the rest of the house, by less than 1 degree, almost unnoticeable, unless you understood what that degree meant. They believed it aligned to something older than the manor itself, something buried deep beneath the foundations. You grip the brass doorknob. It is warm, not the warmth of sunlight or touch, but the lingering warmth of something that was holding it just moments ago. You push. The door opens to a room that should be empty, but isn't. It's not large, maybe 10 feet across. The wallpaper has peeled into curling strips, dust hangs in the air like smoke, and there, in the center, on a perfectly made bed, sits the doll. Her dress is white, unmarked by time. Her hair, real human hair, falls in loose curls. The cracks in her face are fine, deliberate, as though part of the design. One glass eye is perfect, the other is not there at all. The socket is dark, empty, and somehow deeper than it should be. Your breath catches. You feel the sensation of standing on a cliff's edge, the pull, the dizziness, the invitation to step forward. Then you notice something impossible. Her shadow is wrong. It stretches toward you, even though the light is behind her, and before you can look away, her head tilts, slow, deliberate, the sound of porcelain grinding against porcelain. You know, without anyone telling you, that she has just learned your name, and she will not forget it. You tell yourself it's just a doll, an object, an artifact, a thing that can't harm you, but the truth is Blackthorn Manor has never been a house that holds objects. It holds intentions, and those intentions have teeth. There's a journal on the nightstand, its leather cover split from age. The handwriting inside is sharp and obsessive. Eliza Blackthorn's hand. Most of it is unreadable, ink bled into brown smudges. But a few lines stand out, too clear to be coincidence. She speaks when I'm alone. She tells me what they will do before they do it. She says my name as though it were hers. The pages grow darker the further you turn. Not with ink, with something oily, something that smears under your fingers. Near the end, a final entry. She will live when I do not. She will wait, and when she finds her own, she will begin again. The air thickens. You realize the doll has not moved, not even an inch, yet somehow she feels closer. A faint sound breaks the silence, the slow winding of a music box. You don't see it, but the tune begins anyway. You've crossed into the first circle of her game, and the game never ends in your favor. The music pulls you deeper into the room, your body moving without permission. The walls are lined with shelves you hadn't noticed before. On them, more dolls. Each different, each cracked in unique patterns. All of them stare forward. And then you see it. In the base of each doll's neck, where porcelain meets cloth, is a tiny seam, stitched with human hair. The 1846 coroner's report was brief. It listed the cause of death for 3 Blackthorn servants as sudden rigidity. No mention of the doll, no mention of the stitching, but in the margins of the report, written faintly in pencil, someone had added, "They look just like her now." One of the dolls on the shelf shifts slightly. You freeze, but your reflection in the glass case moves a heartbeat later, as if you are out of sync with yourself. The music box stops. In the silence, a whisper comes, not from the doll on the bed, but from all of them at once. "Stay." Your throat tightens. The room tilts slightly, the air thick with a smell you now recognize. Earth, freshly turned like a grave waiting to be filled. History does not record the worst truths. It hides them behind superstition, folklore, and polite omissions. But there are letters locked away in the county archives that speak plainly of what Blackthorn Manor was built upon. The land was once a place of offering, a pre-colonial burial ground for those who died young, children taken before their first harvest. The villagers believed their souls lingered, restless, unless given a vessel. In 1754, when the first Blackthorn laid the foundations, they unearthed dozens of tiny graves. The workers swore that small bones were carried off in the night, their coffins empty by dawn. Days later, the doll arrived, unannounced, unpaid for, sealed in a crate without return address. From then on, no Blackthorn child survived past their 7th birthday. Those who died were always found with the doll in their arms, their eyes wide, porcelain dust under their fingernails. And still, no one destroyed it, because deep down, they all knew it would not allow them to. And now you've stepped into the same circle they did. You haven't touched her yet, but you will. You don't remember closing the door behind you, but now it's shut, not slammed, just resting against the frame with a softness that feels deliberate. The shadows in the corners of the room seem heavier than they should be. One by one, the dolls on the shelves shift their gazes until every painted eye is locked on you. You try the handle. It doesn't move. The brass is cold, not room temperature cold, but earth in winter cold, the kind that numbs your skin on contact. A sudden draft rolls through the room, but it carries no scent of outside air. It smells like something trapped in a cellar for decades, wet wood, mildew, and the faint metallic tang of rusted nails. On the floor near your feet lies another object you hadn't noticed. A single black ribbon. It's frayed, the end stiff with what looks like dried salt. You bend to pick it up. The moment your fingers touch the fabric, you hear it. A giggle. High, light, and impossibly close. You're not sure if it came from in front of you or inside your head. In 1892, a vicar tried to cleanse Blackthorn Manor. His sermon notes, recovered from the rectory archives, describe the room you stand in now, almost perfectly, but he writes of a detail you cannot yet see, a mirror hidden behind the wall panels, covered in a thick layer of ash. The vicar claimed the mirror did not show reflections as they were, it showed them after. When they found him 2 days later, he was sitting in the middle of this room, eyes wide, mouth open as if screaming, but no sound left his body. In his lap sat the doll. His own reflection had been stitched into her porcelain face. Somewhere in the room, the sound of something dragging against wood begins. Slow, methodical, like fabric being pulled across a floorboard. You can't see the source, but the sound is getting closer. The dragging stops. Your breath feels too loud, too fast. The air hums faintly, as though the walls themselves are vibrating. Then, a sharp click. The wall to your left shifts slightly, a hairline gap forming in the paneling. You don't touch it, you don't move. It opens on its own. Behind it, a narrow alcove. No dust, no cobwebs, just the mirror. Tall, silvered in age, its surface warped in waves like rippling water. Your reflection stares back, but your eyes aren't your eyes. They are glass, painted, unblinking, and in your reflection's arms, she's there, the doll, smiling. You stumble back from the mirror, but the reflection doesn't follow. It stays there, locked in place, holding the doll. Her porcelain face is turned slightly, as if she's whispering into your reflection's ear. You can't hear the words, but your reflection's lips curl into a slow, unnatural smile. The mirror ripples. Not like water this time, like something beneath the glass is pressing forward, stretching the surface outward, testing its limits. A faint tapping begins, coming from inside the glass. At first it's gentle, like fingernails on a window, then sharper, faster, louder. You realize it's not just tapping, it's knocking. The sound stops. And then, from within the mirror, your reflection moves, its head tilts. Not in curiosity, but in judgment. The doll shifts in its arms, and your reflection sets her down gently on the mirrored floor. The porcelain feet make no sound, but you feel the vibration through the room. Her eyes rise to meet yours. You don't blink. You can't blink. The glass shivers, and the doll takes a single step forward. Her foot passes through the surface of the mirror like it's nothing more than a curtain of smoke. She's coming through. You're frozen. But the room isn't. The shelves tremble, the other dolls sway, and that same cellar smell thickens until it coats your tongue. Half of her body is out of the glass now. Her porcelain hand hangs in the air between you, a child's gesture, asking to be held. You feel an ache in your chest, like something is pulling forward from deep inside you, urging you to take it. The voice in your head, the giggle from before, returns, but this time, it speaks. It's been so lonely here. Her hand doesn't move, but your own starts to rise. Your fingertips hover inches from hers. The air between you feels charged, like the moment before a lightning strike. Behind the doll, deep inside the mirror's world, movement stirs. Shapes you can't quite see shift in the shadows, tall, narrow, wrong. Their eyes catch the dim light like wet stones. The doll tilts her head, almost pleading. You feel that ache again, but now it's sharper, like something is slicing inward. Your pulse stutters. A faint hum vibrates in your ears. It's low at first, then it splits into dozens of voices whispering at once. They're not speaking to you. They're arguing over you. The porcelain fingers brush yours. Your body locks, not from fear, but because you suddenly can't move. Cold spreads from the point of contact, crawling up your arm, your shoulder, your neck. Your breath fogs in the air, though the room is not cold. The mirror flashes, too fast to catch, but in that instant you see yourself in a different place. A dark corridor, wet floors, the sound of dripping. And in that reflection, you're not alone. Something walks just behind you, barefoot, too close. The doll's grip tightens, and the glass shatters inward. Not outward like an explosion, but inward, like you've been sucked into a collapsing tunnel. The room is gone. There is only the dark corridor from your vision, and the sound of wet, dragging footsteps closing in. You turn, but the corridor twists like it's alive, folding in on itself. The light dies behind you. The footsteps stop. Something breathes against your ear, and in a child's voice it whispers, "Now, you're mine." You try to move. Your legs feel like they've been poured full of wet plaster. Every breath tastes like dust and copper. The corridor walls are not made of stone or wood. They're soft. The texture shifts under your fingertips, pulsing like muscle. When you pull your hand back, a faint smear of black seeps into your skin and vanishes. Somewhere ahead, a light sways. It's dim and yellow, like an old oil lamp. It doesn't stay still. It flickers, moving just out of reach. And beneath it, a shape stands waiting. You can't see its face, but you can feel it smiling. The lamplight fades the moment you take a step forward. Your own shadow lengthens unnaturally, stretching far ahead of you until it bends around the corner and disappears. When you try to turn back, the corridor is gone. There's no door, no walls you recognize, only an endless black hall lined with mirrors that shouldn't exist here. Each mirror shows a different version of you. Some are older, some are dead, and in one of them, the doll is sitting on your shoulder, her porcelain cheek pressed to yours, smiling like you're her favorite possession. A low vibration starts beneath your feet. The mirrors tremble. From deep inside the glass, dozens of pale hands begin pressing outward, fingertips cracking the surface. They're not reaching for you. They're reaching for each other, trying to pull themselves through. The corridor grows narrower, forcing you toward the lamp again. This time the figure beneath it is closer, and the light catches its face. It's yours. Every detail perfect, except for the eyes, which are black pits that reflect nothing. Your double tilts its head, and in your exact voice says, "You're late." You don't remember stepping forward, yet the lamp is above you now, dripping faint golden light onto the warped floorboards. Your double stands so close you can smell the faint metallic tang of its breath. Its black eyes pull you in, not hypnotically, but like a well that swallows anything that peers inside. The figure reaches out. Its hand is your hand, every vein and scar correct, but the skin is colder than the mirror glass behind you. "You're late," it says again, but this time the voice doesn't echo in the air. It vibrates inside your teeth. When you try to speak, no sound comes out. Instead, the words form in your head, unbidden. "I've been waiting since the first time you looked away from yourself." The lamp sputters, and for the briefest instant, the walls around you are gone. There's only water, black, depthless, and faces floating just beneath the surface, their eyes open, their mouths moving silently. You blink, and the corridor returns. But something has changed. The mirrors that line the walls are cracked, spiderweb fractures running outward like veins of ice. Through the cracks you see movement. Not reflections, things walking behind the glass. They move with jerky, insect-like precision, their joints bending the wrong way, their heads twitching as if they hear something you can't. Your double tilts its head toward the nearest broken mirror. "They're not mine," it says, and this time it grins, wide enough to tear the corners of its mouth. "They're yours." One of the figures behind the glass slams both hands against it. The sound is sharp and wet, like raw meat hitting stone. A fissure opens, something thin and pale starts to slide through. A forearm, twitching fingers, nails blackened as if burned. You step back, but the floor gives. It's soft now, like the top layer of something rotten. The lamp above you bursts, not with light but tea with a spray of black liquid that hisses when it touches your skin. It burns, but not like fire. It burns like memory, forcing flashes into your mind. Your own bedroom, your own face, but not yours. In the vision, you're sitting on the floor in the dark, turning something over in your hands. The porcelain doll. You're humming a song you don't know, yet your lips match the words perfectly. When the vision fades, you're lying on the corridor floor. Your double is gone. The mirrors are gone. You are in a narrow, windowless room. Only one thing is here with you. The doll, perched on a chair, her cracked face turned toward you, her smile wide enough to show her tiny porcelain teeth. And then you hear the voice, the same one that had belonged to your double, but now inside the doll. Now don't look away. The doll's glass eyes are fixed on you, not still, fixed, as in nailed to the center of your vision, forcing you to look no matter how you try to avert your gaze. Her head tilts slightly, the neck joint creaking in a way porcelain should never move. The movement is too slow to be mechanical, too deliberate to be an accident. "I can take you out," she says, the voice vibrating like it's coming from inside your skull. But the exit isn't free. The air smells of dust and copper now, like old blood on rusted metal. Your skin prickles, not from the temperature, from the pressure in the room. It's as if the walls are leaning in, listening. "What do you want?" you finally manage to whisper. The doll's cracked smile widens, only the piece you've been hiding the longest. Before you can ask what that means, the floor beneath her chair splinters open, revealing not darkness, but another mirror. This one doesn't reflect you at all, it reflects her. In the mirror's surface, the doll is not a doll. She is a woman, her skin pale and stretched too tightly over sharp cheekbones, her lips split and bleeding where they curve into a grin. Her eyes, still glassy, still unblinking, seem to pierce the barrier between you. "This is your last chance," she says. "Walk away now, and you'll wake up in your bed with no memory of me." Her voice hardens. "Stay, and you'll see what you've been running from your entire life." The mirror ripples like water. Something beneath it begins to rise, long white fingers, impossibly thin, followed by an arm, followed by the suggestion of a second head just behind hers. The chair creaks as the doll leans forward. "It's not just me you have to bargain with." You realize then that there are hands pressing against the other side of every wall, hundreds of them, clawing to get through. The first hand bursts through the wall behind you, cold foe. Fingers wrap around your ankle, the nails digging deep enough to draw blood. You lunge toward the mirror, not to escape but to push back. The doll laughs, the sound shrill and childlike. "You've already chosen," she says, as though you've spoken your decision aloud. The mirror's surface swallows your hand. It's not cold. It's alive, pulsing like the inside of a throat. You feel something grip your wrist from the other side. In that moment, the room begins to collapse inward. The walls buckle and twist, the ceiling shrinks, the floor tilts as if you're sliding into a funnel. And through the roar of destruction, the doll's voice cuts sharp and clear. Once you see it, you can never close your eyes again. The pull from the mirror becomes irresistible, dragging you forward until the last thing you see is your own reflection, smiling, though you are not. You fall, but there is no floor to meet you. Only a drop into a corridor made of moving flesh. The walls pulse in time with a heartbeat that is not your own. Every few steps you glimpse openings on either side like doorways, but each reveals something worse than the last. A long dining table set for a feast of human teeth. A crib that rocks itself, though its occupant is only a shadow. A staircase leading upward, though the top is blocked by a pale human face pressed against the planks like it's waiting for you. The doll walks ahead now. No longer small, no longer porcelain, but a towering shape draped in the remnants of a child's dress. She does not look back. She does not need to. At the end of the corridor is a single wooden door. It does not fit here. It looks like it's been stolen from an old farmhouse, the paint peeling, the hinges rusted. The doll places her hand on the knob, but does not turn it. "This is where you left it," she says. "What?" you demand, your voice cracking. She tilts her head, studying you with those glass eyes. "Your memory of the night you stopped being human." Before you can ask what she means, she twists the knob. The door swings open into darkness, but not an ordinary darkness. This one is thick, clinging to your skin, whispering to you in voices you half recognize. The doll gestures inside. Go on, you'll remember soon. You step forward and the air changes. You're no longer in the corridor, you're standing in a small bedroom. The bed is unmade, the curtains drawn. Rain hammers against the window, and there on the floor is your younger self, not asleep, not breathing. Beside your body is the same doll, pristine, perfect, smiling. Her head turns toward you slowly. Now you understand, she says. The truth crashes into you. You never left this room. You never survived that night. Everything since then, the years, the faces, the life, was only the doll's doing. The bedroom dissolves around you, and you are back in the mirror room. The chair is empty now, the doll is gone, but your reflection is still there. And it isn't you. It's her. She raises a hand and waves slowly. Then she steps forward, pressing her palms against the glass until it cracks. When it shatters, she steps into the room, and you step out. You feel the world change as you take her place, the cold glass sealing around you, the surface smoothing over. From the other side, you watch her walk away in your body, her smile widening. And in the silence, you hear her voice for the last time. Your turn to wait.